Welcome, welcome, welcome to our core embodiment community. Let's see, my internet is a little unstable, but hopefully we'll be able to do this live. My name is Dr. Leonor Murciano-Luna, and I am so excited to be here, to be sharing in this beautiful convergence with all these wonderful speakers. And want to thank Ajaya Summers for inviting me. Thank you. So I want to talk a little bit about the feminine and the reawakening and the reclamation of the feminine. And doing that for today, I want to talk a little bit about the voice and our voice. So as for a little bit of background, you can go look in the website. I don't want to take up a lot of our time with this, but I am the founder of Feminine Medicine and Feminine Medicine Mystery School, and also the author of Birth of the Conscious Feminine and Evolution of Our Feminine Soul. So I have a few books out here that will talk more and go into depth about some of these concepts and some of these practices. But I really want to step in here and give us a little bit of a practice using our voice, because this whole idea of the feminine consciousness, like, why is the feminine consciousness important? And I think we have many names for this essence, for the divine, for this connection with the oneness, with the primordial essence of our being, with our divine dimension. And as many speakers have come on here, there's many paths, as Ajaya was saying a couple of days ago. And so the feminine consciousness, really, that's kind of this awakening of the mother of the love, of this essence of unconditional love, and all of the different aspects of that the feminine represents within us, within the world, is really the medicine that we're needing at this time of such existential crisis and destruction that we're seeing. So I want to start by saying that if we go back to about 10,000 years ago in the Neolithic times, according to Marija Gimbutas and some other archaeologists, the communities were worshiping the Great Mother, this loving divine essence that was part of everything that was on the physical realm. There was no separation between the physical matter and divinity, like there is now in our patriarchal culture. The earth was regarded as sacred. Each other was regarded as sacred. The women were kind of the keepers of those mysteries. They were the birthers and those that were with those that were dying. They were the healers, the divinators, the shaman or shamanesses. They were the holder and the anchor for that reality, for the sacredness that lives within all of us and that lives within all of anything that's physical has this sacred energy. So any of, of course, the earth and the plants and the rocks and the mountains, but also the animals and also inanimate objects, which we're not going to get into today. But there was this understanding in the great mother goddess cultures that there was this oneness, and everything in physical reality was imbued with this holiness, with this sacredness, and there was no real separation. And there was this oneness, right? So where one person, for example, of a tribe was going through something or was kind of like out of harmony, that person would be treated as part of the community so that the community wouldn't go out of harmony and be out of harmony. So there was this flow between the interdependence of the individual and the greater, the macro and the micro. And so we, in our culture, in our patriarchal culture, we're moving back into like about 5,000 years ago, have lost this connection and have lost this sacredness. And we've been really inherited a lot of conditioning, a lot of wounding about separation, about a father God that, is judgmental and is above us. And there's this very separate energy where what we're seeing today is part of that lack of love, lack of sacredness, lack of oneness, where we feel like, oh, that's not going to affect us, or this is not going to affect us. So I think what a lot of us are really saying in this convergence is this return to the feminine, this return to our essence. And through the feminine consciousness and the feminine mysteries, it's really about becoming aware of our body wisdom, becoming aware of the sacredness in the lunar wisdom, the womb wisdom, the shamanic healing practices, and the sacred drumming, for example, and so many of these other practices that we've lost connection with, and the voice medicine, which is what I want to bring into this practice today. So our voice is one of those things that we've, in our culture have used mainly for performative, which is very beautiful. But we've lost the sacredness and the holiness and the transformational process that our voice really holds, the transformational power that our voice holds. And if you really think about all of the spiritual, or most of the spiritual traditions, they all have some kind of chanting, and they all have some kind of use of the voice, whether, they're talked about or not. And we don't really have time to go into a lot of why the voice is and sound is so profound, because I want to give you an experience of that. So I want us to think of voice in this little exploration as having the power to transform through our wounds, to transform through our conditioned and calcified beliefs that we may have, that we may be kind of, quote, working on, that we want to clear. You know how we, for example, we come up with, now at the beginning of the year, we have this vision of what the year will bring and what we want to, what our goals are for the year. And a lot of our old conditioning and habits and wounding might get in the way. And so the voice allows us two things simultaneously. It allows us to transform the sound and the frequency of our voice allows us to transform those denser energies that might be thought forms, wounding, unworthiness, for example, or fear or shame, in whatever way and thought form that might be for you, might be hopelessness, etc. And simultaneously, it allows us to activate that essence within us, our feminine soul, which is what some of us calls it. Jung called it the feminine soul, or the essence, or that primordial divinity of our being, or our soul. So we're gonna jump into a practice now, and using our voice. And you can do this, obviously you can do this at home, And you can do this at any time with anything that feels really challenging. It's like some of us, we're working on ourselves. We're always kind of looking at how to transform these older beliefs, transform this conditioned and some of the things we've inherited, whether it's from our ancestral lineage or whether it's from our own trauma. So voice is that which can transform. And to me, it's really the most powerful thing that can transform, besides also with our breath and of course our awareness and intention. So let's take a couple of minutes that we have left. I know I can't really see. Hopefully there's no questions, but you can always, I'll have all the information on there for connecting with me and questions around this. But let's just take a minute now, and I might use the drum. Use our native drum. I don't know, hopefully you can hear it. I don't know if the microphone settings will allow, but that's okay, because what you're doing, it's not going to affect you. If you can hear it, it'll be a little bit more transformative as well. As most of you know, the native drum and drumming is also very powerful to shift what's happening in our brains, and it has that power of sound as well, to release old thinking and wounding and constriction that we may feel. So let's take a minute to just kind of come into presence here and allow yourself to just be present right now. And if you feel comfortable, close your eyes. Allow yourself to just drop in, meeting your breath wherever you are. And if you have your feet on the floor, feeling the essence rising from the earth and feeling the ground underneath you, and your own energy dropping from your feet, from your root, from your perineum, all the way down into the earth, being met with Earth, Gaia, and feeling supported in this moment as you explore the power of your voice in this very simple process. And so as you're doing that, let's just bring one hand to our heart. You can bring both hands and breathe into our heart space, our heart womb as we call it in feminine medicine. And let's envision this new year, since we're here in 2025. And let's envision something that we want for ourselves this year. Or maybe that we want for the world or for our community. Let's envision something that you want for yourself, world. What do you want to call in? If you've made a list of your resolutions, and pick one of those up and just envision that for a moment. And then as you tune into that goal or vision, as I like to call it, allow yourself to then kind of go underneath it and ask in your heart, like, what thought or belief or energy do I needs to be transformed in order for me to experience this? And it could be a thought of maybe you just automatically feel like, oh, well, that's going to be very difficult because blah, blah, blah. Or you just feel a heaviness somatically in your body when you think that. Or maybe there's fear, or maybe there's this like unknown, like I have no idea how that's going to happen. And therefore you feel powerless around that, the unknown, feeling powerless around the unknown, which there's many of us in this country experience that right now. Maybe there's already a thread of unworthiness that you're very well aware of in your psyche that's not quite where you'd like it to be, which is completely dissolved. Just take a minute to identify that. And all you need is one thread. Let's not bring in the whole, cauldron of different things. It's just one energy pattern, or maybe a pattern that you know about yourself. And that's what we would call the constriction, or the conditioning, or the calcified pattern, or the wounding, or the trauma. There's many, many, many words. But it's denser energy. And sometimes our intention alone is not enough to shift that, right? Our intention alone may not be. Journaling alone may not be. But sound really can penetrate right through and start to shift the frequencies, because all energy is frequency, all thought forms are frequency, etc., which I won't get into. So now that you have, now that you're aware of that, and some of you might be more physically somatic, so you might feel it viscerally, might feel it in your body. It might just be kind of a heaviness or a stiffness or an achiness. Let yourself breathe into that. And when you're ready, we're going to keep our hands on our heart. And we're going to start working and just sounding through the exhale with the sound ah, ah, at your own pace. Ah, and just see it going right into that place that's constricted, right? That place of density, that thought form or physical place, physical sensation. And I'm going to do the drum a little bit to help with that energy as well. And I'll do it with you. You go at your own pace. take a deep breath here. Just feeling your space. Letting yourself feel wherever you're at and whatever's moved in this moment. Allowing yourself to be present. And of course, you can continue this practice. We only did a few minutes because I just wanted to bring you in and show you what the possibilities are. And this is a really, really powerful practice. You can do it without the drumming, or you can do it with a drumming audio behind you or your computer. And yeah, so I'm going to sign off. I want to thank everyone for exploring the power of your voice and reclaiming your voice and the feminine magic, the sacredness that's within you and within all of us. So there's much more at femininemedicine.org if you're interested, and if this has piqued your awareness, please come find me. Thank you. Many, many blessings.